Hello guys, welcome back to the Maritime Infographics. Today we'll be talking about how Asia fell to the west. Before we talk about how the Europeans colonized the Asians, we must talk about how strong they were and how weak they were. On the European side, we had the British Empire, the French Empire, and the Dutch Empire, who wanted the raw resources of Asia to fuel their economy and industry. On the Asian side, however, we had the Japanese Empire, the Qing dynasty, and the Mughal Empire, who all wanted to defend their lands from the European barbarians.
The Europeans had the best navies, a big army, but they had a long way to resupply. The Asians, on the other hand, did not have good navies, did not have railroad and other infrastructure, but they did have a home field advantage. First, let's talk about India and Southeast Asia and how they were colonized by the Europeans. Before the Europeans came, India was ruled by the Mughal Empire and Southeast Asia was ruled by Buddhist kingdoms. In these regions, spice, oil, cotton, and other raw materials were really needed for the industries of the West. The main powers involved in India and Southeast Asia were the United Kingdom, the Netherlands, and France. The Westerners struck, taking over Vietnam, Indonesia, and Malaya. The Buddhist kingdoms were forced into Siam, which is modern-day Thailand. The British were very successful in seizing some ports on the Indian coast. The French and the Portuguese also managed to get some colonies. As the Mughal Empire weakened, the British seized the opportunity to invade Bengal, and the French tried to stop them, but they were defeated at the Battle of Plassey, giving the British control of Bengal. After the Mughal Empire collapsed, Britain was able to secure central India. Slowly, they took over all of India, defeating empires like the Maratha. The British hired Indian soldiers called sepoys. Not liking the British rule, they rebelled. They were defeated, and they would be suppressively ruled until 1945. Now let's talk about East Asia. The empire that controlled China at the time, the Qing dynasty, had tea, silk, and other goods. The main powers involved were Britain and France, although other European powers would join later. The Europeans found Chinese goods very appealing and as a result spent lots of money for Chinese goods. The Chinese didn't want too much Europeans in their country, so they limited the trade with special rules, which did not sit well with the Europeans. The Chinese clamped down on trade even more. The British ran out of money and did not like the rules of the Chinese trade. They used land in Bengal to grow opium, a dangerous drug, and sold it to the Qing dynasty, which bought it instantly and made more money. Opium spread quickly in China, with lots of Chinese becoming consumed by the drug. The Qing dynasty was not happy. They forced their people into rehab centers and banned opium. The British were not happy with the ban on opium and wanted it to be legal again, and when it was still illegal, Britain declared war on China. Let's talk about the strengths and weaknesses of these two empires. The British Empire was very strong and disciplined, with the navy supporting the army from the coast, with the Chinese navy being destroyed by the technologically superior British navy. In the land, the Qing forces were weakened by opium and feared the British, often surrendering. This was called the First Opium War. The Qing were defeated and had to make peace. They had to give Hong Kong to the British, had to ease and lower trade laws. Opium would still be illegal, but in the Second Opium War, opium would be legal again. Japan was not much different from China. Isolated from the rest of the world and having little trade with the Dutch, the Americans forced them to trade and thus ending their isolation. Japan modernized, building factories and railroads to compete with the West. In the First Sino-Japanese War, the Japanese were able to take Korea. Thanks for watching this video. Please make sure to like and subscribe. We're getting close to 50 subscribers, so it would be very cool if we hit it. Bye!